This is Tank's Vlog, April 12th, 2019, a tradition like no other. We are underway in the 2019 Masters, and what a leaderboard we have got after the first 18 holes. Brooks Koepka, the man who just continues to raise his game in majors, is tied atop the leaderboard with Bryson DeChambeau. Who? Bryson DeChambeau, who basically is a rising star on the golf world, was the 2015 amateur champion. So, right there we have two, and they both shot wonderfully. 66 minus 6. And who's in second place but Phil Mickelson, who got a 67, 5 under par. Then we have Ian Poulter, Dustin Johnson at minus 4. We have a group of golfers at minus 3, and at minus 2, in contention is Tiger Woods. So I don't think golf could have had a much better day, except if you're Jordan Spieth, you're basically done. I mean, what is going on with Jordan Spieth? Plus 3, horrible start to his Masters. So, we're going to have a good weekend probably in Augusta. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see who, and if there's any big stars that missed the cut. But right now, we're looking at a chance to have some exciting golf this weekend. Not too far from Augusta is Atlanta, Georgia, and the Mets began a long road trip in Atlanta, a 4-game road series this weekend, and had Steven Matz on the mound, and Steven Matz is off to a fantastic start this year. Through 3 games, his ERA is 1.65, and this time he finally got a win, as Peter Alonso just continues to murder the baseball. I didn't even know they had a pond at the Braves' new stadium. What is that? SunTrust Field? I think that's what it's called. Although I think it's getting a new name because these sponsor names change all the time. But he hit that ball way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away. Also hitting a big home run is Amed Rosario. Amed Rosario has looked great this year. You know, people are talking about, worried about Robinson Cano. He's under 200. But you know what? I'm not that worried about Robinson Cano's batting average. I think Robinson Cano will turn it around. He will eventually get his stats. He's always been a slow starter. I remember when he was with the Yankees, he always wouldn't get it going until around Mother's Day. So, don't worry too much about Robinson Cano. What I like, though, is that he's had a positive impact already in the locker. And I think having Robinson Cano talking to Amed Rosario, and not that other man, not that Jose Reyes, who is a drag on his career. Now he's got a good role model. And I think Robinson Cano will do great things for Amed Rosario, who today had 3-run homer, had an RBI. On top of that, 4 RBI day, as the Mets took the opener of the 4-game series 6-3, although that bullpen continues to give me agita. Loading the bases, Robert Gsellman, and then they got out of it. Jerry's Familia, shaky as usual. Edwin Diaz had second and third, and had to face Freddie Freeman, but got out of it. Freddie Diaz so far has 5 saves and the Mets 8 wins, as the Mets are now 8-4 to start the season. It was the Reds sweeping the Marlins 5-0. Boy, the Marlins look terrible. Meanwhile, it was a story of 2 Chris Davises again, as Chris Davis with a K is okay. Had 2 home runs to lead the Athletics past the Orioles 8-5. Meanwhile, Chris Davis with a C continues to be whoa. Yes, that's right. He is now 0 for his last 53 going back to September. And he is making millions upon millions of dollars. I don't think there's a more useless player. I think he might be actually taking... I think he might be less valuable to the Orioles than Bobby Bonilla is to the Mets, and that's kind of hard to do. It was the Indians 4-0 winners over the Tigers. The Cardinals completed a 4-game sweep of the Dodgers with a 11-7 win. Mariners continue to power the ball all over the place. Have hit a home run in every one of the first 15 games, setting a new Major League record, sitting at 13-2 after a 7-6 win over the Royals, who are at 2-10 off to a dreadful start. Royals may be able to run the bases, but the problem is they can't get anybody on those bases. Rafael Devers got a walk-off hit as the Red Sox rally to beat the Blue Jays 7-6. Maybe this is the win that gets the defending champions going. Jose Quintana struck out 11, allowed just 4 hits, as the Cubs blanked the Pirates 2-0. It was the Padres 7-6 winners over the Diamondbacks, and the Giants, with Jeff Samardzija allowing just 3 hits in 7 innings, blanked the Rockies 1-0. Rockies off to a terrible start at 3-10. Stanley Cup playoffs resumed on Thursday with 3 games, and it was the Maple Leafs with Frederik Andersen making 37 saves and Mitch Marner scoring twice to beat the Boston Bruins in Boston 4-1. Isn't that interesting that it happens? You notice it happens a lot more than you would actually think. The Bruins are playing the Maple Leafs in the playoffs while the Red Sox are playing the Blue Jays. I've always found that interesting when that happens. It was the Capitals beating the Hurricanes 4-2. Defending champions had a 3-0 lead, and all of a sudden the Hurricanes got back in the game with 2 goals in the third period, but Washington scored late, so they wouldn't pull what Tampa did on Thursday by blowing that lead, and won the game 4-2. Meanwhile, it was fire melting ice as Mike Smith made 26 saves. Matt Tkachuk scored 2 goals as the Flames scorched the Avalanche 4-0. Today's 3 stars are Mike Smith with that 26 save shutout, Jeff Samardzija, who allowed 3 hits over 7 innings as the Giants blanked the Rockies 1-0, and Mitch Marner, who had 2 goals in the Maple Leafs win in Boston. Today's birthday shout-out goes to Nate Solder, who struggled in his first year with the Giants. He turns 31. And we take a look back to 1964, when Arnold Palmer won the final of his 7 major titles. It was also his 4th green jacket, at the time a record. Arnold Palmer is one of only just 3 golfers who have won the Masters 4 times. The other 2, Tiger Woods with 4, and, of course, Jack Nicklaus with 6. So check out the full story at Barstool Sports and Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives. Good day.